Why ants move in long lines, a scientific explanation. Ants are fascinating creatures that often capture our attention with their orderly, single-file marches across sidewalks, forests, or even our kitchens. You've likely seen them moving in long, disciplined lines, as if following an invisible road. But why do they do this? From a scientific perspective, this behavior is not random. It's a remarkable example of nature's efficiency, driven by biology, chemistry, and evolution. In this explanation, we'll explore the reasons behind this behavior, breaking it down into clear characteristics so anyone can understand how and why ants move this way. The role of pheromones, nature's invisible highway. The primary reason ants move in long lines is because of a chemical communication system involving pheromones. Pheromones are like scents that ants produce and leave behind as they walk. Imagine them as tiny, smelly markers that only ants can detect. When an ant finds food, say, a crumb on your kitchen counter, it doesn't just grab it and head back to the nest alone. Instead, it lays down a pheromone trail on its return journey. This trail acts like a signal to other ants, saying, "Hey, there's food over here. Follow me." Other ants in the colony pick up this scent using their sensitive antennae, which are like super-powered noses. Once they detect the trail, they follow it to the food source, adding their own pheromones as they go. This reinforces the path, making it stronger and more attractive to even more ants. Over time, this creates a busy, organized line of ants all heading in the same direction. The trail isn't permanent, though. The pheromones evaporate after a while, so if the food runs out or the path isn't useful anymore, the line naturally fades away. This characteristic is easy to spot. If you watch ants closely, you'll notice they don't wander aimlessly. They stick to a specific route, almost like they're following a map. That's the pheromone trail at work, guiding them with precision. Efficiency through teamwork. Why lines make sense. Ants don't just move in lines because of pheromones, they do it because it's efficient. Ants are social insects, meaning they live and work together in colonies, sometimes with thousands or even millions of members. For them, survival depends on teamwork. Moving in a line ensures that every ant can quickly get to the food and back to the nest without getting lost or wasting energy. Think of it like a busy highway. If everyone drives in their own direction, you'd have chaos, accidents, delays, and confusion. But if everyone follows the same road, traffic flows smoothly. For ants, the pheromone trail is that road. It minimizes the distance they travel and maximizes the amount of food they can bring back to the colony. This is especially important because ants are tiny, and carrying food that's sometimes bigger than their own bodies takes a lot of effort. By sticking to a line, they save energy and time. You can see this efficiency in action. Watch how ants carry bits of leaves, sugar, or dead insects back to their nest. They don't scatter, they march together, each one contributing to the group's success. This teamwork is a key characteristic of their behavior. Evolutionary advantage, survival of the smartest. Why did ants evolve to move this way? It's all about survival. Over millions of years, ants that could find and share food effectively were more likely to survive and reproduce. Moving in lines, guided by pheromones, gave them an edge. Colonies that mastered this strategy could outcompete others, gathering more resources and protecting their nests from starvation. This behavior also helps with safety. A lone ant wandering off might get eaten by a predator, like a spider or a bird, or lose its way. But in a line, ants are harder to pick off. There's strength in numbers, and the trail keeps them connected to the colony. Plus, if danger strikes, the pheromone trail can signal other ants to come help or avoid the area. This survival trait is a defining characteristic. Ants aren't just following a line for fun, it's a strategy baked into their DNA, honed by evolution to keep their colonies thriving. Observable characteristics, what you can see. So, what does this look like in real life? Here are some clear features you can observe when ants move in long lines. 1. Straight paths or gentle curves. Ant lines aren't always perfectly straight, they might curve around obstacles like rocks or puddles. But they're always purposeful, sticking to the shortest practical route to their goal. 2. Constant movement. The line is alive with activity. Ants move quickly, rarely stopping unless they're picking up food or avoiding a problem. It's like a conveyor belt of tiny workers. 3. Two-way traffic. Often, you'll see ants going both directions, one group heading to the food, another returning to the nest. They don't bump into each other much, thanks to their coordination. 4. Response to disruption. If you interrupt the line, say, by wiping away part of the trail with your finger, the ants might scatter briefly. But soon, they'll rebuild the path as new pheromones are laid down. These traits make ant lines easy to recognize and understand. Next time you see one, you'll know it's not just a random march, it's a carefully orchestrated system. Variations among ant species. Not all ants move in lines the same way, which adds another layer to this behavior. For example, Argentine ants are famous for forming super long, tight lines because they're highly aggressive and cooperative. Fire ants, on the other hand, might spread out more but still use trails to connect their foraging efforts. Leafcutter ants cut paths through vegetation, carrying leaf pieces in neat rows back to their nests to grow fungus for food. This variety shows how flexible the line-moving strategy is. Different species adapt it to their needs, but the core idea, using pheromones and coordination, stays the same. You might notice these differences in your own backyard. Some ant lines are thin and fast, others wide and slow, depending on the type of ant. Why it matters to us. Understanding why ants move in long lines isn't just cool science, it's a window into nature's problem solving. Humans have even studied ants to improve our own systems, like designing better traffic routes or optimizing delivery networks. Their simple yet effective method teaches us about communication, teamwork, and efficiency. Next time you see ants marching along, take a moment to appreciate what's happening. They're not just bugs, they're tiny engineers, following an ancient blueprint that keeps their world running smoothly. In summary, ants move in long lines because of pheromones guiding them, teamwork making them efficient, and evolution rewarding their success. These characteristics, orderly paths, constant motion, and adaptability, are clear to anyone who watches closely. It's a small but mighty example of how science explains the wonders of the natural world.